Good day everyone, welcome back. This is now lecture B of arrays. Lecture B. Now we know how to declare an array. Now we're going to use arrays in a program. So let's say for instance we have a program and in this program we define a constant, and that's the size of the array. And now we have our int main, now inside int main we have an array of type int called arr of size 10. And let's say for instance now we want this array to have values 1, 2, 8 and 9. Oh wait, yeah, 10. We want values stored in the array from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. We want to go and store that inside the array. Now unfortunately we can't use the previous illustration of the declaration of this, but we can use this. But let's say this array is of size 100 and we want to count from 1 to 100. This method is going to be very tedious and you need to make sure that you count exactly correct and make sure that the commas is perfect, and you will count to 100. So it will be 100 commas, 100 characters. So it's just going to be a very tedious and long job to go and declare the array with numbers from 1 to 100. Now in this illustration it's from 1 to 10, and we are going to now look at how we can be efficient. And as engineers we want to be very efficient and very quick. We don't want very long and tedious work, and we don't want to repeat a lot of things. So in this array it's got a type int, a name arr and a size 10. Now we can go and exploit the counter controlled looping structure called the for to help us do the job much easier. So how would we do it? Okay, so we will go and create a counter variable. So the for rules for a counter controlled looping structure is we need a counter variable, we need to go and initialize that counter variable to 0. Okay, we need to have a condition smaller than 10, and we need to increment. So let's quickly check if this for loop will be able to work with the array. So as we know that the index starts at 0 and this specific array has a size of 10, so the last index will be 9. So this for loop will count from 0 to I smaller than 10. 10 is not included, so it will count from 0 to 9. So this for loop structure will work perfectly for us. So let's quickly say inside the for loop we will say arr, and now we want to work with each element and give it a number from 1 to 10. So inside the square brackets we put our counter variable, and then all we need to say is I. Now I is going to be on the first round 0 and we want it to be 1, so it's just 1 extra, so we can just plus 1, and that's it. We exploited now the use of a for loop, use it with our array, Okay, I will count from 0 to 9, and that's perfect for our indexes. We won't go out of bounds. And then we say must be equal to the counter variable plus 1. So it's 0 plus 1 for the first index, 1 plus 1 for the second index, and that's 2. 2 plus 1 for the third index until you get to the 9th index, and that will be 9 plus 1. And we know that we can do this whole procedure here. Let's say we want to, after now completing this, we want to go and print out this array element for element to the user so that the user can actually see exactly what's going on in this array. We can also use the for loop. Because it's now an integer array, we can't use the string functionality of %s just to completely output the string. We need to display it now element for element. So we can use the for loop again. I is equal to 0, same procedure again, I plus plus. And what we can do is we can say print f. We can print out a decimal value, %d, and we can go and say ARR, and in the square brackets we say I. So this is the basic code just to display the full array element for element by using a for loop. And then we can end our program, return 0 semicolon and the curly bracket. Okay, so this program, what it will do is it will create an array called ARR with a size of 10. Okay, we have to find a size, so this is actually size. That would be a nicer way of doing it. Okay, int I, and we have a for loop from 0 to smaller than 10, so it's 0 to 9, and we give each array element a value of the counter variable plus 1. So everything in this array will be from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 9, 10. Okay, and then we can go and print out everything in this array element for element by using the for loop again and using the printf statement that we have used now a lot of times. And we can use the %d to output a decimal, and we say array square brackets I, so that's the element, and this I will change every for loop, and thus to the next index, to the next index, to the next index. So this is a nice way of doing it. Just one disclaimer, make sure that your for loop doesn't go out of bounds. Okay, we have talked about this error, but please make sure that your for loop doesn't go out of bounds, because this will give you a problem. Unfortunately, the out of bounds error is not always picked up by the compiler. So what will happen is this will be picked up while you are running your program. So you've compiled your program and you run it, this for loop will start and run, and then there's an error and you don't know what's the error, and it's normally an out of bounds error. So go and make sure that your for loop will be inside the bounds of your array size. Okay, thank you very much.